Many companies give back or are giving back as a result of the tax bill. And FedEx says the bill will deliver nearly $1.5 billion worth of higher earnings, better profits. Look who's here, the man himself, Fred Smith, FedEx's CEO. Sir, it's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Glad to be here.
Okay, now, what are you going to do with the extra cash? Are you going to give bonuses?
Well, we have a board meeting next week. We tell our board what the tax bill means to us. It passed in between our board meetings, and I'm sure we're going to be doing a lot of things as a result of this tax bill because it was very, very good policy.
That was a very smart avoidance of the question, I might add.
Well, I can't make any news until our board approves the things that we're going to do, but obviously the tax bill means that businesses like FedEx, which is already a major investor, our CapEx budget this year will be $5.9 billion, but it means that we can increase it in the future because of the new provisions of the tax bill.
Top guy at BlackRock out this morning saying companies should be responsible. They should contribute to society. I think he's talking about bonuses and wage increases. So I kind of prod you a bit more. If Walmart can give bonuses to 1 million employees, why can't FedEx do something similar?
Well, my guess is we will be responsive to the tax bill.
Can I say that as a probably Fred Smith and FedEx will be giving bonuses?
You can say that's a probably.
Well,
I don't know if it would be bonuses. It might just be increased wages, which we do every year anyway. But
well, will you increase them some more because of the tax?
It could well be, Stuart, for the very simple reason that the tax bill corrects something that's been a real problem for American business for years, and that is the punitive tax code that we used to have that dissuaded investment. And investment is the only way to make blue-collar workers, people that don't have college degrees, more productive and have more income. So you can hire 6 people to move a pile of dirt, or you can hire one person with a bulldozer. The difference is the bulldozer. The bulldozer driver makes a lot more money than the people with the shovels.
And if you buy a new bulldozer, it's immediately expensible. Write it off 100%.
That's the difference right there. That's the difference. It reduces the risk, and it improves the future returns of that capital asset. So it will increase business investment in this country, and that is the biggest single problem that we had prior to this tax reform.
So you will commit to investing more in your business because of the tax money that you get?
Well, I don't think there's any question that we'll invest more because you can expense it. Well, the reason I hesitate is for the simple reason that we're already an enormous investor. $5.9 billion CapEx this year, Boeing airplanes, GE engines, Freightliner trucks, computer systems, I can go on and on. What it means is, in the future, that the risk of investment is lower, and almost certainly American business, including FedEx, will respond to it with higher investment.
You deliver some of Amazon's stuff, I believe.
We do.
A lot of it, actually. Well, we've got news today that Amazon shipped 5 billion items just to its Prime members.
Right.
That was last year, 5 billion items. Can you keep up with that? Because they're growing like topsy-turvy.
Well, we can keep up with any growth as long as it's compensatory. It's the thing that we were just talking about. When you make big investments, you have to get a return on those investments. So assuming that the rates paid are compensatory, of course, we can keep up with it, and the expensing makes it that much easier.
The word is that Amazon might invest in its own delivery service, its own trucking fleet or airline fleet, some of which it has already. That's got to worry you.
Well, let me put a couple of things in perspective here. FedEx today, on average, will deliver about 13 million shipments. We'll deliver those 13 million shipments with 650 planes, 5,000 facilities, 150,000 vehicles, and almost 500,000 people serving 220 countries.
That's per day?
Per day.
13 million per day.
Per day.
Have you got excess capacity? I mean,
well,
could you do that with your current planes and ships and your freight liners? Could you deliver 15 million a day?
Well, we can easily deliver 15 million a day, but you have to invest in the capacity to be able to do that. That's why the tax bill is so positive.
Okay. So you're going to put the money back into the company, aren't you?
Well, we have been for years, but it will allow us to put more money into the business with less risk, and that's the big issue that was solved with the tax bill. That and the ability to bring money that was locked overseas back to the United States.
Are you experimenting or doing anything with drones?
We do have a lot of efforts underway for autonomous vehicles and aircraft.
So you're into it?
Oh, big time.
You see it as the future? Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, I have to tell you, we don't really like to do vaporware and make announcements that then aren't seen in the operation. So I think some of these things in the next couple of years, you'll see a lot of announcements from FedEx.
I spent the last 5 minutes pressing you
to
say something that you can't
say.
See, up on that monitor, I see the Dow Jones average at almost 26,000. That's a rip-roaring rally.
Sure.
What does Fred Smith at FedEx say about that?
Well, I think the stock market, of course, represents the future expectations on cash flows and profitability. You were talking about Amazon. We'd love to have their PE, our trailing PE is 22, and we're a highly profitable company, and their trailing PE is 266.
Right. Yes, yes.
So at any rate, the market is reflecting growth around the world, which of course we see. We serve 220 countries. Nobody sees the global economy the way we do. And it's pretty well synced up, and you have a better situation for business with the reduction in regulations, and most importantly, this tax bill. This was a long time coming. It was directed where the U.S. had the biggest problems, which was lack of corporate investment and government investment, for that matter. And that will have a big effect on GDP growth and wage growth.
You went to Harvard Business School, was it?
No, I went to Yale undergraduate, and my graduate school was the USMC, 4 years in the Marine Corps.
But am I right in saying that, was it at Yale, you submitted a business plan for an overnight delivery service and they rejected it? Is that correct?
Well, that's directionally correct, but I think the story is I wrote a paper and I got a C on it, and everybody thought that was such a bad thing. I was quite happy with that C. It was a good grade for me.
And there was a time when you didn't have enough money to pay for jet fuel for your planes, and your pilots chipped in with their own credit cards. That's accurate?
Well, maybe one of them did, but they were a great bunch of people and helped carry the company on their backs in many ways, not just paying for a load of gas.
But you've never forgotten them, have you?
Oh, no. Listen, the whole thing about FedEx that sets us apart is our culture and our people and our dedication to what we call the Purple Promise. I will make every FedEx experience outstanding. That's how we became a $65 billion company, is because of those teammates that deliver those 13 million shipments every day.
Forgive me for asking almost a personal question, but you're a wealthy man. You're an extremely wealthy man. What do you do with your money?
Well, I have lots of kids, lots of grandkids. I have a lot of charities and causes that I am passionate about, and so it's one of those things where fortune has obviously smiled on me, but I've seen a lot of tragedy too. So I keep that in perspective.
But you're such a diplomat. You're telling me it's none of your business.
No.
That's what you're saying. Yes, you are. Yeah. You're an American icon.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you, Stuart.
Fred Smith, what an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you, sir.
Very much for having me.